Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Ray here from Grayze Dynamics. A review. A product you probably never heard of. A year and a half ago, I surely didn't. But I saw their Formula wheel, reached out to them like, hey, I'd love to buy that wheel potentially in the future or work with you on some sort of collaboration. They reached out some time ago saying, hey, we'd love to send you some products to review. And I'm happy that they did. Now, because they sent me this product, that doesn't mean it's going to change or sway my opinion on what I'm reviewing and my opinion to you. They asked for an honest feedback. I told them in my email, I'm going to always give honest feedback, tell you what I think, whether you should spend your hard-earned money on it, and whether it's worth what they think it is. So we've got a couple products we're going to look here today, as well as a couple others we'll look to in the future. Let's take a look at what we're going to be reviewing today. First and foremost, clean packaging, black box, label SIMDID Racing. Awesome. Let's take a look what's in the box here. Now, this is the GTW steering wheel. It is their rally wheel. But the most important thing in the box that you'll find are some stickers. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Black background, white lettering. Additionally, included in that, you get the USB part that you connect to your PC. We'll talk about this in just a second in depth. You get the optional shifters. And by optional, meaning they come in the package, but you don't have to attach them. You don't have to use that at all if you don't want to. They're optional, but they are CNC aluminum with forged carbon paddles, nice and large, easy to reach and grab. But again, you don't have to attach them at all. You can just keep them the way they are, or you can use them. Lastly, you get the wheel here, which typically comes attached with the USB cable, but we will talk about why it's no longer attached there in just a second. So the wheel, nice and light. I have to say, when I took it out, I was like, wow, it's pretty light. Compared to some other wheels I've used, reviewed, and drive with on a daily, this is very light. Obviously, it doesn't have a QR attached to it, but it is quite light when you think about it. It comes with 11 LED backlit buttons. All of these buttons can be used and controlled via SimHub. SimHub in 2024 is a requirement, and I'm glad that they use it. They also have an app of where you can use some of these toggle switches to control some items, which I think is really cool. Toggle switches on a rally wheel seem to be far more important than most other things I've used them for. The last wheel I've used that had them was a Cube Controls wheel, and it was actually pretty cool to do things like wipers and things. To just turn on your wipers, turn them off. Really cool. Never thought about it, but I think it's a really cool concept to add onto wheels, as well as two encoders that rotate left, right, and push, and two 7-way funky switches that you will find here if I'm moving them correctly. So really good. CNC aluminum enclosure with a forged carbon front plate on it. Again, absolutely awesome, excellent, recommended. The wheel itself is a aluminum wheel with a silicon rubber and then some cowhide wrapped around. I have to say, I'm really impressed. The cowhide feels really good. And I think it feels good because the grips underneath are silicon and they're soft. So that makes it even better as opposed to having some hard material underneath and then putting on some cowhide and then it's still uncomfortable in my hand. So because it's soft and then the cowhide gives it a grip similar to what you'd get on like a Momo wheel, it feels really, really good. And again, really impressed. I like the little orange, yellowy leather here just to add some color and accent to it. But again, the stitching on the inside, if you look at that there, it looks really, really good. I mean, I am really impressed with how it looks overall. On the back, what we're going to see is the PCB. It's got an open design in back, and I'll explain why that's important to me. Some people that may not be important to at all, but it's really important to me just because of how I mount my QR and how I run my wheels. So it comes with a 20 mil spacer. That 20 mil spacer, when you use the shifters, what you're going to do is take the shifter, you screw it down here, and you plug it in there. And you'll see there are two slots here, one on each side for the shifters. Really easy, but you don't have to run shifters, as I said earlier. They're completely optional. They come included in the box, but they're optional. You don't have to run them if you don't want to. Maybe you have a sequential shifter, maybe you have an H pattern, Maybe you have a sequential and a handbrake, and you don't want to have shifters on this because you're only using it for rally. But because I like the wheel, personally, I will use this for more than just rally. I mean, rally is definitely a reason why they made it, and it has rally inspired elements. But it can be used and it's versatile to use for anything. But like I said, because it's open and back, you can take the spacer off if you don't want it, and maybe you just mount it directly to your QR. Or, for example, maybe you say, you know what, I want the spacer, but I don't want to use the shifters. And again, you have options. So what we're going to do is I am going to take this wheel, I'm gonna lie it down, and I'm going to connect my QR to it. And my QR, I'm actually going to just use the shifters, and I'll speed this up so you're not sitting here watching me fiddle around. But I've got my trusty little blade here. So I'm going to speed this up and you'll watch me just install this. They feel and sound really nice. Comes pre-wired, so there's nothing you need to do. Just attach them, get on the track, and start racing. And because it's open in the back, you can see I have my Dan Suzuki QR. So now I can just mount it directly on, and there's a SIMDID logo. So I think this is a match made in heaven. What we're going to talk about next is, again, here is the USB cable that comes with it, which is already pre-attached. I take it off again so I can run mine that way, but this comes here, and this is the piece that goes into your PC. Now, some people may not like the fact that, well, it's two separate connections, I got to screw one into the other. What I think is cool about this is this gets plugged into your PC or USB hub. Then you can mount it with the carbon fiber plate they included here. Mount it onto your rig, it stays on your rig all the time. So you never have any tension pulling this piece from the USB, because typically this is plugged into your wheel. This part is a regular standard USB cable, and you wrap it around. But if it pulls too hard, yeah, you could potentially yank it out, but usually it has enough slack on all of these to not have that be an issue. With this mounted onto your rig, and I know it's another cable and another cord, one, if your PC is well off on a table, on a desk, it's a distance away, you have plenty of space and slack here to plug this into your PC, plug it into the back of your PC, on the hub, anywhere, mount this to your rig, and then this is connected to your wheel. So you screw it on and screw it off, and you're done. And to me, not a bad design. I think it reduces tension and stress that you put on the cable itself. So for some, they may not like it. For me, I think it's perfectly cool. I've never had one. I never thought about it. I've seen it and never really thought about that process. But actually, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes it easier in the long run, especially for some people who are running extension cables where they already include it for you. So that makes your life easy. And again, we'll put some stickers on it here in just a little bit. The next product we're going to talk about that they sent me is their WRC shifter. Nicely, neatly packaged. Again, comes with all the hardware and screws, and I'll show you how it ends up getting mounted. Comes with the cables that you're going to need to connect it to the WRC shifter. It comes with the plates you would mount this onto, which mounts this to your rig or wheelbase, depending on how you decide to mount it. But I'll show you again. And it comes with the shifter module. The shifter module is twofold. One, it comes with two different paddles. So you get your aluminum paddle here and your forged carbon here. Now, I like how, well, these is twill actually. I like how they're using forged carbon here. I wish they were using forged carbon on these. But as thin as this is, you're not buying them in a bundle. They're two totally separate products. But it looks really cool. And again, they're so light. The cool thing about it is you can buy this in a set of two if you want to. but you only really need one, because once this is mounted, this is not only shift up, but you push it to shift down. Now, for a person who knows nothing about rally, I think that's pretty awesome. And obviously, it's large because you're turning, and you may shift up or shift down while you're driving and be turning the wheel in doing so. So you want to have access to do it from either place. Now, because it's long, you get that access. Now, granted, I'm holding it, so it's wobbling in my hand, but obviously if it's stationary, screwed down onto a solid rig, onto an aluminum bar, then you'll be perfectly fine. But I think it's a really cool, ingenious design. Connects via USB-C. And again, you don't even have to own their wheel to get this. You can have some other wheel, but just want something like this. And again, you can buy them in singles. You can buy two of them to get a pair. And I think it's really cool. And again, for somebody who doesn't know anything about rally, we're going to get into rally now that we have this. And you'll start seeing me do some rally on the channel. But what we're going to do now is, now that we've looked at the wheel, we've looked at the rally modules, we're going to get this all connected to the rig. And bear with me, it'll take me 18 years and a day to get it all connected because, you know, it's something new for me. I'll have to go through the directions, which they do include in the package, to go through to figure out how to mount it. All right, y'all. So we've got the SIMDID GT wheel now on the rig. A couple things I want to correct before we drive a little bit. These two toggles aren't used in game. This one will toggle between a wonderful array of lights that can be controlled via an app, third party. Toggle to the left now controls SimHub. This toggle on the right is simply to turn the light off, turn the light on. Lastly, the two funky knobs. They are by definition 7-way funky knobs, but push functionality is not enabled. So you will notice that if you push it in game, you will get no output into the game. But it truly is a 7-way funky switch that just doesn't have that enabled. So not sure why that is not enabled, but it is not. If it's something that you depend on, then hopefully in future generations of their wheels, which I have chatted with them quite a bit, they have some cool things coming for the future wheels as well. But it does work all 6 ways, just not that way. So with that being said, let's get out on track and run a few laps. I did pick a dirt track because, again, I feel like that is absolutely necessary to do this wheel some justice. Yeah, no, granted, you can use this wheel for anything in any type of racing, whether it be oval, whether it be GT racing. It's 320 mil from one end to the other. Oh, catch it. Oh, I didn't catch it. But with that being said, this 320 mil, the grips underneath, as I said, feel really good because they're soft, they're rubber. I mean, they're probably 70 Shore A. The more I use it, I realize it's got a nice squeeze to it and give. Unlike, you know, some wheels are just, you know, hard shells with leather or Alcantara around it, Alcantara. And to me, that is not very enjoyable because at the end of the day, if you're doing long stints or you're doing, you know, drifting or rallying and you're using a round wheel, I really think that having something that's a little bit softer under your hand is going to be significantly better, in my opinion. Because again, you're going to be holding the wheel for, you know, 20, 30, 45 minutes, you know, sometimes longer. If you're doing an endurance race and maybe you're using this to, you know, use it for some sort of, you know, GT racing or something along that line, then, you know, oh, I'm killing myself here. You know, don't judge my racing. But yeah, you want to hold the grips for a while. You want to make sure that they feel good in hand. And I can say, you don't need to wear gloves with this. But, you know, I will say this, whenever you go with some sort of texture on a wheel, you know, it's going to take wear and tear. So that wear and tear is going to be something you want to protect your wheel from. Now, it's cowhide, so you can treat it and take care of it. I'll be honest, I don't know how, because I've never had a cowhide type of wheel. But again, it feels really good. As I pointed out earlier, the stitching on this, like, it's no nylon stitching, so like it looks really cool. Like it's like glued together, or the seams are so smooth. You don't feel any stitching on the inside. So, you know, as we know with everything, you know, you have to test the durability test. And I can't tell you what the durability is because this is a new wheel made by SIMDID. So I would venture to say that it will last you a while. But again, with everything you get, there is wear and tear. And you know what? The more you treat it right, the more you potentially baby it, the better it may treat you overall. But like I said, all the buttons are right where I need them to be. I can reach the funky and move it in any direction that I so choose to, just by moving my thumb over. All the buttons, you know, they're buttons. So some of them are well within thumb reach, like these here. Some of them I have to take my hands off. But it's a rally-inspired wheel. So yes, you will have to take your hands off if that is something you want to do and push some of the buttons or use some of the encoders. Not something we're not used to, but again, the format of this rally wheel is inspired by a real rally wheel, so you're going to see buttons you have to take your hands off for. That's just the way things go. But most times I think when you're driving, you're not pushing a ton of buttons. You know, you're driving, you're racing, you're shifting, you're using your handbrake and things like that, which I do not own. I may get one in the future now that I have this wheel, because I have enjoyed this wheel since the moment I took it out the box. And I've been looking for a GT style wheel to do some other types of racing, but you know, and 320 feels the right size. The last one I had was 330. You know, bigger. That extra 10 mil made the wheel feel significantly bigger, not suited for much of the racing I want to do with it. But yesterday I raced some GT1 and it was fun. So that is the wheel. The wheel is handled quite nicely, and again, it feels really good in hand. The shifters they have a nice click to it, you know, a nice pull. The magnets on there are pretty strong, so you're going to get a nice pull with it. It shifts really quick, really easy. Again, they're CNC aluminum, so at the end of the day, you can kind of beat it up. You know what I mean? Like you can shift it hard, pull it. You know, it's going to last. You're not going to have any issues. It's not 3D printed. It is CNC aluminum, so you know, done really well with carbon fiber paddles. So really nice. I cannot complain. The carbon fiber is forged carbon fiber, so it matches the front of the wheel. And again, this is how we roll in the dirt. Now, let's take a look at the other shifter that I was telling you about. I think you're going to like this one a lot. So let's switch over the camera, take a look at that one, and I think when you see it, you're going to be like, wow, that is pretty cool. But man, this is really freaking cool. I've never used one a day in my life. But to be able to use one, to be able to just shift up. Now granted, I did have like the McLaren GT wheel from Fanatec, and yes, those were rocker paddles that you could, but it didn't feel like this. Oh, let's see if I catch it. Caught it. But man, this is that is fun. I was driving some GT1 around Le Mans and around Road America, and I was using it, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like I said, you wouldn't theoretically have both shifters on your wheels. Now, because it's a separate item that you would purchase, it is registered as a separate device in game. So technically, while I'm shifting here, I can use my shifters that are on my wheel as well, because this is just another shifting device. And the way I did that was through Control Mapper and SimHub. So I can map and use both of them at the same time and interchange between them all. But man, it's so light, like it doesn't like what that. But I'll be honest with you. The wheel, the shifter, this is tons of fun. I am pleasantly surprised, SimDid. Like I am pleasantly surprised. I am thankful that you sent this to me to review. I'm not gonna lie, this is the most fun I've ever had on a dirt track. And I have a sequential shifter, and I love that thing too. But this just has a different feel. Like I can, like, you know, wow. Like you don't need to either. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting to. And you may want to, because you don't want to push the ship. Oh, wall. Can I make it down? Oh, you may not want to have just one. But two may be for you, but oh man. It's just so cool. So cool. I really am impressed. I really am impressed. Like, you know, yeah, the shifter just feels great. It mounts onto everything. Yeah. Yeah, so cool. Hey guys, so let's conclude this video. Really simple, really easy. First, I want to talk about the additional rally-inspired shifter that you can purchase. Um, I really like it. I think it's really cool. I think the novelty of it all catches you really quick. It feels really good. They have every mounting solution that you can think of. You can mount it onto just about any rig that you have. And even if you have one that is some obscure rig, I'm pretty sure there's some way of mounting this to it. And if you are a rally driver and you're looking for a shifter to add, I can only recommend this one. It's the only one I've ever tried. So, you know, bear that in mind. I haven't tried a ton of these, so I do want to be honest with you. But it's easy to attach. Once you get it on, it's easy to adjust. The carbon fiber paddle is really cool. I also tested out the aluminum. They both are really awesome. The aluminum, I like the look of that one slightly better because I think the aesthetic of this and the aluminum look really cool together. But I would say if you're looking for a rally shifter, and again, like I said, because you get both push and pull, you only really need one. So adding two is definitely feasible. I may try moving it over to my left side, but I like it on the right, to be honest, because that's my dominant arm. And I don't have an e-brake or hand brake right now at this time. So this is going to definitely stay on the rig and be used for years to come. I really like this. The wheel, I really like it as well. And again, it's cockeyed to the side because of the QR. But I really like the wheel quite a bit. The buttons feel really good underhand. The shifters are nice. They have a nice click to it, the way I actually like. I don't need anything that's dampened in any way. I'm pretty sure if you want to dampen it, you can simply buy some thin rubber pads to add to the back. I'll also, hopefully when SIMDID sees this, that's something they could potentially add in as well for those customers who want something that is silenced. It's definitely a cool thing. And I think personally, they should potentially even think about selling these shifters on the side. As I do DIYs quite a bit, I think it would be really cool to be able to buy these in a DIY scene because the bolt pattern could likely bolt on to almost any DIY. So selling them separately may be a cool idea too, because I think it would definitely add some value for them. There are some things on the wheel itself that, again, like we talked about, the two funky switches, they act as funky switches, but the push functionality is not mapped to anything. So I do hope that they rectify that in the future, because again, having all the features of a funky switch is definitely beneficial. The push, maybe not as much as being able to rotate and use it as a full funky knob, up, down, left, right, rotate it both ways. Because I've reviewed like the Moza KS that doesn't give you the rotate, and that to me is more critical than the push functionality because I can use other things for it. But I think that's something that they definitely want to add. The toggle switches are really cool. It adds some cool features again to switch between SimHub and its own backlit profile by switching. And then this one turns on the light for the center of the SIMDID wheel. I do think they need to make sure the sticker it kind of peels up a little bit on the corners, but once you push it back down, you're fine. I might add a little glue there just to keep it to lay flat, because I do like the logo on the back light behind it. The buttons function perfectly fine. The encoders are exactly that. They feel good. You feel every detent and every push. The stickers are nice to put on the wheel. They do come with some round stickers to put over, but I would recommend also that they maybe look at some polycarbonate stickers you can put over top where the light can shine through. That would make these buttons even better, because one, the polycarbonate stickers have a little bit of texture on it. Two, you can get the ones where you can see the light through the actual sticker itself. And I think it'd be easier to put stickers on here, but again, this is made to mimic a rally wheel, so the stickers are going to be on the actual front. So if you want something that's more specific to rally, then the way they made it may be better. But I think having something on here for us LED fans would be really cool as well. The ergonomics of the wheel feel great. The softness of the wheel I really like. It's about a 70 short A as far as underneath, and then it's got again the stitching on this, or not stitched, but how they attached it together, really top quality, if I say so myself. Again, all of these devices that have LEDs like this, you're going to add those via Arduino. So this way, when you pull up the device, you pull up the Arduino, and then you're able to map all of the buttons to different colors and do anything you want in SimHub. And like you saw in mine, be able to push it and it changes colors and things like that. So it's definitely something as a round rim, 320 mil. It's not very expensive. Both of these products, I mean, for about 400 bucks, you can get both of them, depending on how much you're willing to spend on the additionals, whether you want two of these. But again, it comes with everything you need in box. I could definitely say, if you're looking for a rally inspired wheel at a good price, CNC aluminum, forged carbon front and paddles with LEDs, SimHub compatibility, 70 mil bolt pattern. For me, access to the PCB is highly important because, again, I run the Dan Suzuki QR. I would say, as of right now, based on the round wheel I had before that I sold, as many of you might know, this is the best round wheel I have used, and I would recommend it to anybody. Actually, both of these products. If you already have a round wheel, I'd say add this. If you do rally, or maybe, like, let's be honest, I think about it being lazy. Like, say I'm driving and I want to grab a drink of water, I can shift and downshift both by using just this one. And you can see again just how massive it is, how it's going to sit behind here. Obviously, if you're running this, you won't need to have shifters on here. You can take them off or keep them on. That's what I did as well. But you will notice that it will get in the way because you have shifters here and then you have this right behind it. So overall, really good product. You won't get any complaints from me. I think there are a few things that I would fix on it like that. As we mentioned, eventually they do plan on having their devices have devices in SimHub, not just Arduinos. So look for that to come in future products that they release. But I would definitely say, like, I don't want to say I was skeptical at first, but I knew nothing about SIMDID. Now I do. And now from what I feel, I can definitely recommend it. Also, with that being said, I know a few of you have been asking about the FA7, their formula style wheel. That looks really awesome as well. Based on the quality of this, I would think that's good quality as well, but I can't tell you for a fact because I don't have it and I'm not using it. So, you can take that with a grain of salt, as they say. So, as always, check out SIMDID. You'll see the link down below. Give them a check out. I think you'll like the products that they have. We have some other stuff coming for you here in the near future, but add it to your very short list if you're looking for a round rim. For the cost, you can get it off of multiple different places. I believe they actually have places you can get it right on AliExpress. So again, I think it's really worth it in the end. Go ahead and get one. Let them know that I sent you, and let me know what you think. So to conclude this, as always, thank you to the members who are part of my channel first and foremost. You guys subscribe. You guys send me your hard-earned money. Not a lot, but every little bit counts, and that goes to being able to buy this new camera and all the new gear that I purchased. Thank you for the followers, subscribers, and members all alike. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being part of Grayze Dynamics. Thank you for those who may see this for the first time and maybe have stumbled upon me. I'd appreciate it if you like, subscribe to the channel, and give me that thumbs up and notifications on, and make sure you comment down below because I appreciate it and read them all. And lastly, thank you to SIMDID for sending this over. Like, they didn't have to. And I want to say thank you. So thank you, SIMDID, for sending these products over. I think you did a really great job, and I look forward to working with you potentially more in the future. But we'll see. Who knows? And thanks to Matt, Simulation RS. As you can see, he made the custom wheel stand for me that fits this 320 mil rim. Could fit even larger, but he put the SIMDID logo and designs on it. So thank you for that from my sponsor. And as always, thank you. I will check you guys out later. Peace.